Renell Hunt back with us, and Rev, we are exactly 1 week away. Saturday today, we're 1 week away.
Yes.
From Brock Lesnar returning to the UFC to fight Mark Hunt. Let's break it down here. Whether we're not going to break down in the octagon of how the strengths and weaknesses. The bottom line: if Brock Lesnar wins or loses, how does this affect going forward? We know he's going to be fighting at SummerSlam, so they say. What happens? Is his credibility altered either way?
We automatically know just how his advocate, Paul Heyman, is. And for Brock Lesnar to win this UFC fight against, I would say, the Rev's cousin, Mark Hunt, I would say that this will work in Brock Lesnar's favor. He's going to win the UFC. This is going to work in a tremendous way for SummerSlam coming up, I believe, for SummerSlam, and we're going to get it going, man. I think this is going to help him out tremendously.
Well, I'm not a UFC expert, but what I hear is Brock doesn't like getting hit in the face, and Mark Hunt can knock people's heads off. What happens if Brock Lesnar loses? How does Paul Heyman have to spin it, or does Brock Lesnar have automatic credibility, infinite credibility, just because he's stepping into the cage? What happens if he loses?
Well, the famous boxer Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Brock Lesnar is the man, whether it's WWE or UFC. He does not like to get any scars, any scratches. I would say if he's working a heel mentality, he still has a baby face naturally. So if he gets nicked in the face, anything like that, he's going to snap. All you need is a ticked-off Brock Lesnar. I still say,
snap. If he gets hit, he's going down.
I don't think so. You say Mark Hunt is this guy. Listen, the only Hunt that is a guy to knock someone out on one punch is the Rev Ron Hunt. Mark Hunt gets one nick on him.
Who did you knock out on one punch?
Listen, man, I knocked out Muhammad Ali back in my heyday.
Oh, Jesus.
I floated like a butterfly.
Look, I still think here again. I'm not rooting for Brock to lose. I'm not excited for Brock to lose the same way I'm excited for a CM Punk to lose. But I just got to think. If Brock loses, if he wins, it's easy. Paul Heyman's going to come out there, and it's going to be just you're running all the way to the bank with it. And you can throw him in a four-way against the Shield for the title at SummerSlam. But if he loses, what do you say the first time he comes back? And so we know he's probably going to come back around the draft.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
He's the hottest property, so they can always bill him as. I just wonder if he loses, how does he come back, and do they let his opponent for SummerSlam utilize that against him?
I honestly think, we've seen it happen a couple times within WWE. If he loses, I think this is a perfect opportunity for them to fully unleash the beast that's behind Brock Lesnar. If he loses, why not come back to WWE and say, okay, since I lost at UFC, I'm going to make sure that no one stays standing in the WWE. I still feel like this is an opportunity for, if he loses, they still have a way to set him over the edge as a beast, have him tear up the whole WWE scene, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, with the draft. Have him invade on both, regardless of where he's at. Let him tear up the scene if he loses against Mark Hunt.
It's not a bad idea. I still say win or lose for Brock Lesnar. It's everybody's personal opinion. Is his credibility altered? But win or lose, we know he's going to be at SummerSlam. I say win or lose, let Kevin Owens be the first person that comes and addresses Brock Lesnar. Because Brock Lesnar in that famous ESPN interview talking about it kept referring to himself, prize fighter, prize fighter, big money, I'm above the title. Kevin Owens uses prize fighter on a shirt.
He is.
Kevin Owens is the perfect antagonist to come out and say, oh, look, either, you think you're a big bad prize fighter because you went back and fought one dude who's over 40, come face the best in this ring. Or if Brock loses, Kevin Owens can go off to the races on antagonizing him and saying, oh, you had to come back here? You don't want none of this either. And I think, if Kevin Owens wraps up his stuff with Sami Zayn for the time being at Battleground, I think that could be a real I'm intrigued by Owens versus Lesnar. Some people aren't. To me, I am.
You know what? That's a good point. I do feel like that this could be an excellent setup. Whether Brock Lesnar wins or loses at UFC, this is a great setup for them to use Kevin Owens now. This is an opportunity for, once they're done with Sami Zayn, line those two up. I feel that they can stretch that storyline at least a good 4.5 to 6 months without no problem. Just like you said, both at equal matchups right now. Let's put them up against. Now we have the man.
Owens and Lesnar for 4.5, 6 months?
I can still see it.
Well, you don't need that. This is a one fight.
You don't need it, but I can still see it.
It's a one fight off.
I can still see it.
That's if I guess if the first one drew, then you keep it in the
cards.
Rev,
the Rev has visions for WWE, man.
Was that before or after you knocked out somebody with one punch?
That was actually right after I knocked out Brock Lesnar at the previous. That's why he came back to WWE. Yeah, really.
Obviously. Follow Rev on Twitter. Let him hear it on social media. We got more coming up. Josh and the Rev are going to talk about the boss, Sasha Banks.